Welcome to Jeff and the Rabbi. You know, it's that time of year again. Fresh snow outside, even though we're in Georgia, so maybe we just have to imagine, squint a little bit. You can see that, not that much snow. But it's that crisp feeling in the air. Mm-hmm. You know, it's December.
It's December.
You know, here's an interesting thing, and I know we've talked about, you know, back in my youth, back when I went to school, way back in the late 90s, when I went to school back in, we talked about before, at Herman Goring School for Gifted Boys,
right.
When I went there in Virginia. You know, the Christmas time for the non-Jewish people was a little different than it was today. Back then, you know, it was, you know, they didn't have the carols and things. It was a little bit different back then. Obviously, in my school, we had our mandatory hour of Wagner in the gymnasium, but after that, there was always the singing of the Christmas carols that they came up, and I'm trying to think what those people would have thought back then in the Ruhr Valley of Virginia where I went to school, if they knew these were all written by Jews. Almost every one of these songs, Rudolph and the White Christmas and Silver Bells.
Chestnuts roasting on the bed, you name it, they're all there.
At our school there was chestnut, it was something roasting on open fire. I couldn't even tell what it was. It wasn't pleasant. But the whole point is, you know, if they would have known this, I wonder what Klaus and the Gestapettes, that was our local choir, the local boys choir, would have thought if they were singing songs and they knew that they were singing songs written by the Yiddish.
Yeah, right. You know, I wonder if they do. I mean, I would guess that they do. Certainly enough articles have been written about the fact that the majority of the most popular, if you take I think I saw one list, the 25 most popular songs.
Right.
So this majority were written by Jews, the majority.
Well, where I went to school, those books were burned. So we didn't read that, but I heard about it later on the internet. They couldn't stop that.
Right.
So it's an amazing thing. And you know, like the Jews, maybe more the secular type Jews, seem to be the guys that built this whole Christmas attitude, this whole winter wonderland type Jewish, not Jewish, but you know, Jewish from the retail Jewish stores. But they seem to be the guys that built this whole Christmas.
Absolutely. The spirit of the day, the brotherhood, goodwill towards men, and everything like that, and the warmth and being with the family, and all these things that we can, you know, I just hear like sleigh bells ringing just as I'm talking. You know, just even saying the words, I'm hearing sleigh bells.
Careful, I might sing.
Yeah, right.
No problem for all
and
of us.
everyone being together and being warm with the snow outside, and everyone being warm, and everyone coming home, and everyone, you know, everyone missing you, and will we be together, and all that type of stuff. And the friendliness and the idea of just, you know, the compassion. It's a nice idea. The Jews invented that idea.
And that's kind of surprising. I was surprised.
But they didn't invent the idea, but they imputed that idea into Christmas. Christmas never had that. Christmas was, and we could get into its whole history in and of itself, where it came from. Did it come from paganism or whatever? But for the hundreds of years prior to the 20th century, Christians observed Christmas as a Christian holiday. And it didn't have all of this, maybe they observed it as the birth of their God or whatever it is, but it didn't have all of this type of universal feeling of brotherhood and warmth and everything like that, and the time for families to get together. Until a bunch of Jews came along who were either immigrants or the children of immigrants who came from Eastern Europe primarily, who came fleeing a very oppressive environment. They came to America and they started writing all these songs. Now, of course, you say, well, why did the Jews take to writing these Xmas songs? Like, why didn't Irish people write Xmas songs? Why didn't...
Well, I was thinking it could be because you can't find any word that rhymes with Hanukkah. No matter what you do, there's not a word that can rhyme with Hanukkah.
That's another question. A, why did they write Xmas songs? B, why didn't they write Hanukkah songs? And why is it these particular group of Jews seem to have this affinity to doing this? You know, and interestingly enough, because of the way they did it, they ended up dominating the holiday because it's expressed through its music and the movies that come along with it, and the way it's portrayed in the media, and they became a big role influence in the media, and therefore they defined the contemporary holiday, which is not even their holiday.
Which is kind of odd, but I think you're right. I think it's the first time I thought about it, but yeah.
Now, of course, you could give a real simple answer.
Money.
There you go. You got that one right away.
Money.
Irving Berlin said, let's see, how am I going to make money? Should I write a song about Hanukkah?
No. Wait, listen to it? Or?
Right. No, not going to go. Okay, let's see. I got 6 million Jews I could write for, or I got 360 million guys. No, I think I'll go with it. No. So that would be a simple answer, and we really could stop right there.
Right, yeah.
And all these guys are thinking like, okay, this will sell. But it seems as though they're so attracted to it, and so many different Jews at different times and everything. And if you look at the way they portrayed it, that many times you will see that if you look at all the Jewish Xmas songs, they don't have a lot of the religious overtone.
Correct.
You don't see, this is not like drummer boy
or
stuff.
Silent Night or
right. Right. That's not right. Those are really not so Jewish. You find very little like White Christmas. I don't think there's any mention of there's no religious overtones in that really too much.
Rudolph.
Yeah, Rudolph, right, and the sleigh bells are ringing, and we're walking a winter wonderland. I mean, yeah, it's like very much seasonal, but no, not religious overtones.
Right, great.
But what they did was, they came over to America. Now, these people were desperately looking for acceptance.
Oh, absolutely.
Desperately looking for acceptance. After dealing with the Tsar and the Cossacks for a good number of centuries, they were really looking like, let's get out of here. So they don't want to go and leave behind everything that they had to come up to some other place, which is also going to exclude them and marginalize them and isolate them and all that.
Let me fit in, please.
Please. Now, fit into what? So they can say, well, one way to fit in is become a Christian. But they weren't so hot on that. So instead they said, well, let's take the modern culture and recreate it in such a way that we have a comfortable home within it.
That's interesting.
It's a goodwill and brotherhood and peace to all men. Goodwill to all men. All men. It doesn't matter, even to Jewish men.
Wow.
Right? Goodwill to everybody. Now what we have to do is we have to get everybody to express that goodwill and everyone to express that embracing of others, including differences, and we all ignore this and we all try to just all be one together. This persists until today, of course. So you see, first of all, the power of the Jewish people to reach out, take the prevailing culture, and to spin it around.
Spin it to let me in and keep me safe.
Right, that's right. It fits. I need this to fit me. So I'm not just going to try to fit in. You can always do that, and you can always maybe, they tried that even in Europe. They tried to get baptized and all that. But they kept on being these backlashes, and even when they got baptized, and even when they tried to be very Christian, even the Christians didn't like them. It never really worked in Tsarist Russia. Right. They tried, but it didn't really work. So they want to try to say, okay, here's what we're going to do. Let's change the predominant culture. Of course, they tried this in other places also. For example, in Russia. They didn't like Tsarist culture because it really was harsh on them. So they said, well, let's change it.
Yeah, they were right in front of the whole revolution thing.
Yeah, they changed it all right. And what did they change it for? For another distinction blind culture, which is the proletariat.
It didn't work out so well.
I don't care if you're
for a minute.
But, that's a great idea.
Right.
It doesn't matter if you're a white proletariat or black proletariat or Jewish proletariat or Christian proletariat. As a matter of fact, we're not Christians and we're not Jews. And
we can coexist almost.
We're not even men, men and women, but we're not even married. For a long time, early communism, they were really opposed to marriage. They really tried to delegitimize marriage because that was so structured and so exclusive, and they didn't want exclusive. We're all here just working to make life better, elevate the working man. So Jews always go in for this stuff that universalizes, which means they can feel comfortable there. Because whenever people particularize, the Jew's always on the outside.
That's the truth. That's the truth.
So take it forward a step. The Jews are still the most paranoid and the most concerned about particularism and about anyone thinking that someone else or highlighting someone else's difference.
Wow, that kind of sounds like today with the Jews.
Jews
Yeah.
freak out
Wow.
about noticing any difference. What do you mean he's different? What do you mean he's got a different orientation, or looks different, or worships different? No, you can't organize that. Yes, but his difference is causing us a lot of trouble. No, you cannot recognize differences.
So you think in the back of their mind, they're thinking back to the days where, anytime there was a difference, there was going to be a Jew and a pogrom.
As soon as you have any standards, or, we're not going to let in everyone until we've vetted them. No, you have to let in everyone. Yeah, but some of the people coming in are blowing everyone up. Doesn't matter.
Wow.
Doesn't matter. We can't put up barriers. No barriers. I don't want barriers to anything. I don't want barrier in your bathroom. I don't want barrier at your borders. I don't want barriers in your employment. I don't want barriers in any way, shape, or form. No barriers, no distinctions. Can't be, because it's bad.
Wow.
People want to get up, they want to live in this country, and they want to move to another country. You can't stop them. Why? Because nobody's moved around as much as we have, and we always had a hard time when people stop us, and therefore, it's not such a crazy idea, and therefore, we can't stop, we have to let everyone migrate freely. Now, what's the problem with this? It sounds like a good idea, and it certainly is founded in something very substantial. Years and years of persecution, right? But whoever thinks of this idea, this is brilliant. Whoever thinks someone is persecuted, they think, I'm going to change the entire prevailing culture. It's really interesting, very ambitious.
Yeah, it is.
If it's not accommodating me, I won't make it accommodate me. I'm just going to tear it all down and make a whole new culture. It's very, very ambitious, but the problem is that it presumes that really there are no differences. It's just hang-ups. It is just small-mindedness of people. If we could just get them past their small-mindedness, they wouldn't notice that I'm a man and you're a woman, or I have a different religion than you, or I come from a different country than you. They wouldn't notice any difference. It's the small-mindedness of man that notices differences. So what we have to do is teach the world not to discriminate. Notice no differences.
We're all the same.
No differences.
That just sounds like progressivism on a popsicle.
There you go. There you go.
Got the whole thing.
There you go. And it has to be, because in truth there are no differences, right? Not even between people and animals. I mean, after all, animals are people too. We all came from Mother Earth. How could it be that we all spring forth from Mother Earth, and you're a Christian and you're a Muslim and you hate each other? It must be something that you made up. You must have created that.
Nothing deeper than that.
Because we all spring forth from the same earth. How could it be? How could it be? Even though we do find that, really the argument should really be just the opposite. It should be just the opposite argument. We should say to them, if you say we all just sprang forth from the earth and we're all just animals, well, everywhere I've seen, animals are territorial.
Oh, well, that's true too.
They don't get along. As a matter of fact, a lot of animals like to eat each other.
True, yeah.
They don't recognize the rights of anyone else. If the snake comes upon the nest of baby sea turtles, he never stops for a half a second to think,
those poor little babies, and
they really need a chance to grow and thrive. They are an endangered species.
That's true.
I'm not going to eat them. No, they just eat them.
That's true.
Right? No. So if you want to equate people as just being animals, then you would say it's part of our nature to be self-centered, territorial, distinguishing, and all that stuff. Now, if you want to say that we're not, we've risen above that, how did that happen that we rose above that?
Must be something special and different about us.
Maybe something special is different about us, right?
Yeah.
So here's what we also believe. As Jews, we believe that ultimately the vision is a correct vision. However, only when everyone realizes that I'm no different because there's a God, and God is more powerful than anything, and therefore my differences don't matter. But just for the heck of it, for the fact that, no, because it's rationally true that our differences couldn't matter, man will rationally pursue his own self-interest? No. Only when the whole world is serving something higher, then the whole world can say, listen, who am I to look down on you? I serve God, you serve God, so I got to respect you.
That makes a little bit more sense. So So when Irving Berlin and the guys wrote these songs, and again, I'm sure this wasn't all going through their head in the forefront, but was it more just protect me, protect me, protect me?
It wasn't not in the forefront,
right, but it was.
But it was underneath there. It was a drive. The guy, as all of them, Irving Berlin became Berlin. Right. Runs away to America. He knows what it used to be like. If he didn't know it personally, his parents sure told him about it, and he probably knew it personally too, right? Or you hear, what's her name, Mrs. Meyerson, Golda Meir, describing how she remembers, being terrified when the Cossacks are trying to pound down the door, and her father and her uncle are barricading with like everything they got, and you have these experiences, So what you want to do is you want to try to level the playing field. So if you're Irving Berlin and you can get out there and you can create an image, this is the way I want the world to look, and I'm going to write songs that reflect the way I want the world to look. And guess what? He happened to be a darn good songwriter, and he wrote a song, and then people bought it up, and they started defining the culture.
That was what Christmas was then, that white tree and the white snow. Well, then, so how then do you explain, like today, you have Barbra Streisand will release her Christmas album. She's Jewish.
Right.
Even Neil Diamond, has a Christmas album.
That's
so
right.
Are they still thinking the same thing? I mean, I'm sure they're both. I know Barbra Streisand is progressive.
Because they're embracing this because it's not about the birth of a God of the Christians.
Right.
It's about a time when people can come together in unity and embrace their differences, and it doesn't really matter, and we're all friends, and let's drink some eggnog and wear sweaters with little, things on there, right? Yeah, I mean, this is their utopian vision, and they decided that the holidays, this season, is going to become the high holidays of their utopian vision. And they got the rest of the world to buy into it.
So now, are these the same people that will go complain that they call it a Christmas tree in the middle of the front lawn of the courthouse in the town? Are they the same people that are complaining about that?
Yeah.
You'd rather be called a holiday winter fur.
Right. So if a group of Christians want to put up that tree, no. That is very, very discriminatory. Meaning,
we could be in trouble here.
Right, you're dividing, you're separating. Now, if a group of secularists would want to put up a tree that represents color blindness and not recognition of borders, that would be okay. That would be okay because that's universal. But if you're putting up the tree and the tree represents your religion, I don't like that. Because then you are forcing us to keep believing that there are different religions. And I don't want that. I can't have you having your own religion.
So this kind of goes along, I guess, what we talked about last week, that Jews pretty much need to be the leaders in this whole progressive concept of coexist. I bet they was it a Jewish guy who came up with that bumper sticker, by the way?
Yeah, I'm sure.
I can guarantee that it was.
Well, yeah.
So we
can research
so
that.
Scared that when the coexisting bumper sticker gets ripped, we're going to be the first guys on the train.
Right.
That's what we're kind of worried about.
Now you know that religious Jews who are embracing their own religion usually don't have too much of a problem with the other guy embracing his religion.
I mean, you never see them complaining about the tree and everything like that.
You have your tree. I mean, I'll tell you the truth. I was invited to participate in my suburb's annual tree lighting in the town square. Right. And I went down there. It was really nice. Like, they should light it up. Do your thing. They lit a menorah also in honor of me. Fine, very nice. If you want, I told them, you want to do the menorah, that's nice. You don't want to do it, that's also okay. Doesn't bother me at all. But I like the fact that they have their religion. I'm not afraid of distinctions. And I'm not afraid of people pursuing their religion, especially if that religion happens to be benevolent. But even when it doesn't, because I don't mind people pursuing their belief system. That doesn't inherently bother me. Now, there are some religions that their belief system poses a big threat to me, and I'm not really too happy about it, but I'm not opposed to the concept of them being worshipers of their own religion.
And, I wouldn't either. I think you kind of summed it up pretty well, and maybe in a, let's say, you put the whole thing in a chestnut roasted nutshell here. I mean, the concept of the distinctions, and I think that describes progressivism. Obviously, it describes Jews, and that's what it is. They can't have distinctions because they're afraid they're going to fall to the bottom of the class if you get distinctions, and that maybe is what the whole thing's all about.
Yeah, I think politically, if you look back on the past 8 years, it seems as though, I think to some people, myself included, it seems as though the 8 years were spent trying to erase the distinctions between bathrooms.
Bathrooms, men, women.
Right, all this stuff.
Black, white.
And yet, in the meantime, you saw, around the world, there were other peoples, other countries are building military bases and sites and strengthening themselves, and all kinds of things are going on, and the country is losing its position in world standing, but we are getting non-gendered bathrooms.
Thank God for that.
Right. So, but then you say, but we're losing our world position, our world status. So who cares? Why do you care so much about being, this can be a world where everyone is just one big loving group anyway. So the mere fact, the fact that you want division and the fact that you want prominence and preeminence, it shows you're all in the wrong direction anyway. We want to not have that preeminence.
I think it's more important for me to be able to wear lip gloss because I look good in lip gloss.
Yeah, that's right.
So I think that's more important in protecting the country.
We're going to make a special bathroom for guys that wear lip gloss.
I'm into that. Listen, I got my
own
things.
But you can choose. It's your choice.
Yeah, it should be. It should be. So this is very interesting. So here we are. Sum it up. Jews came over and kind of built their own Christmas story.
Right.
Their safe, protected Christmas with good snowy boundaries so that no one can say what's really about this and you kind of putting up our God on
right.
Killed him here. No, it's about everybody being happy in a snowy winter wonderland.
That's right.
And that's what we went to, and we're still there today. We're still hoping the country will keep us in that snowy winter wonderland. We all
and the truth is, it's also their dream. Everyone being together, because if you were always excluded, you have a dream of always being together and being embraced and being warm.
I wasn't picked first in the kickball game in gym class, actually, so I know how that feels. I've been suffering from that for years.
Yeah.
We should all be able to kick the ball in the same deal. There should be no teams, actually.
That's right.
No winners, no losers.
Yep.
Wow. All right, I think you've explained Christmas.
Okay, now you're ready. Now you're ready to enjoy the holiday. Yeah. Watch out. Listen to the lyrics. Listen to the lyrics. You'll be able to notice the lyrics written by Jews and the ones written by non-Jews.
Yep.
Right? You'll tell it right away.
Pretty easy. Yay, Xmas. Let's go. See you next week.